This is John Paul Wright. I'm coming to you from Tokyo, Japan, today talking about Lady Thor and why I'm not sexist if I don't like Lady Thor or if I don't even like female characters in certain ways. It doesn't mean I'm sexist. We're going to talk about that. First, quick shout out to Sith Lord Felix. He's been giving me some good support. He's on Twitter. Cool guy. Alright, let's get into this article by, yeah, you guessed it, the Mary Sue. I'm just going to try to destroy this website, and I've been thinking about this pretty hard, because the whole narrative today is that there's, woman power, and if I don't like these certain women characters, I'm sexist. Although I do like a lot of other women characters, that doesn't seem to count for certain reasons. We'll get into that too. Here we go. Alright, here's the article here. It says, being mad about Lady Thor means you're a fake fan. First of all, I'm not a fan. I'm not a big fan of Marvel. Yeah, I'm a fan. I respect Stan Lee. I respect Marvel. I respect what they created. I'm not necessarily like a fan, like I wait for it, I like it, I buy the merchandise. I'm a fan in a way where it's just something I respect. It's good stuff in general. Well, was. Okay. So here's the thing. I was thinking about this. What if I just don't like certain characters as women? Or as men? But we're talking about women in this case. So what if I just didn't like Natalie Portman as Thor? Or in Thor? Or wielding the hammer? Whatever you want to say. I don't have the right not to like that because she's a woman and be called a sexist? What if I thought other women did fit the role perfectly? Like Gwendolyn Christie. She's like big. She's strong. I think she would fit the role better. And the thing is this. If you're calling me a sexist, well, let's see what they say first of all. First of all, she's Mighty Thor, so get your facts straight. Second, being mad that Jane Foster is worthy of the hammer shows that you know nothing of the Thor comics and more importantly shows you're sexist. Yeah, I said it, sexist. Mainly because if Thor and Steve Rogers can be worthy of the hammer, why can't Jane Foster? Because she has a vagina. I said it, it's written there. The Mary Sue said it. Okay, so here's the thing. If you call me sexist, if I'm sexist for not liking a female being Thor, that means I'm sexist in everything I do in my life. That means I wouldn't hire a woman because she's a woman. That means I wouldn't want, let's say, a woman to teach my son something. That would mean I would think women aren't as good as men as far as certain jobs, which is totally not the case. You can't call me sexist because I don't think a character works as a woman. You don't get to do that. It's not fair. You can say, what? Sexist movie watcher? I'm a sexist entertainment critic? I mean, now you're creating your own little department, your own little meaning for the word sexist. Doesn't work like that. Sexist means if you call me sexist, I'm sexist through and through, which is definitely not the case. I mean, if I was hiring somebody, let's say I wanted to hire somebody for this channel, and a man could get me, let's say guaranteed like 50 subscribers in a week. And a woman could get me like 150. Who do you think I'm hiring? I'm hiring the woman in a heartbeat. I'm not being like, well, I'm going to hire the man. He's not as good, but I'm sexist. What if I was sending my kids someplace to learn language, which is very likely. I'm in Japan here. And the man said, well, I could teach your kids about 100 words a week. And the woman said, I could do 175. You think I'm going to be like, well, I'm sexist, so I'm not going to have, the woman teach my sons because she's a woman. No, I'd hire the best person for the job. Job's a good example. And that goes for anything. If a woman could do something better than a man, yeah, I'll take the woman. If a woman could do something better than a man, I'll admit they can. If a woman sings a song in a show like American Idol or X Factor or something, and I have to vote, and the man doesn't sing the song as good, I'd be like, she deserves to win. I'm voting for her. But if I say I don't like Natalie Portman as Thor, that doesn't make me sexist. That's not what the word sexist means. There's too much confusion these days about what words mean and misusage of words, labeling people. They want to label me a sexist to make it look like the movie's really good. It might be. We haven't seen the movie in this case. But in other movies, such as The Last Jedi, Ghostbusters, 2016. We know they're really bad, but they label me a sexist, so it looks like I don't like a good movie because I'm a sexist, which is not the case. The point is, however, is that in an unsurprising turn of events, men are angry. Why? Because 7 movies of Chris Hemsworth as Thor and the promise of Chris Hemsworth as Thor in the same movie isn't enough. They want a shirtless Chris Hemsworth, and they want only him. Maybe. Maybe I do want only him. You know why? Because I see him as Thor, and I'm used to him as Thor. I think he works great as Thor, and there's no reason to replace him as Thor. That's it. It's not because I hate women, I'm sexist. I happen to actually really like Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman played one of my favorite personal characters in the prequels of Star Wars, which is one of my favorite franchise. Well, I mean, I know it's a mixed bag now, but it still is the best creative thing ever invented as far as like the Lucas era and as far as like a core theme. So Natalie Portman's like really high on my list of actors I love, but I don't think she makes a good Thor or a Thor character, whatever you want to call it. I know she might not actually be Thor. She might be alongside Thor as Chris Hemsworth or something. I don't even know. I'm a little confused. But the point is, I don't really see her wielding the hammer. I don't see her fitting the part so well. And yeah, I will say it is because I think a man fits that role better in this particular case. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think about that. Is there more of this article I gotta read? You know, there's comments, there's things like that. And, you know, they keep saying that, well, it was a woman in the comics. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know so much about comics, but I'm going to put I'm not going to put my whole reputation out on the line, but I'm going to put this video out on the line and say I think that was a recent change in the comics. I remember that happening a few years ago, 3, 4, I don't know, not that long ago. So when you say, like, well, it was like this in the comics, usually you think of it like it's been like that in the comics since the start, for decades, for a long time. You can't just write a comic, then 2 years later write a movie, you know, and be like, well, it's a woman in the comics, it's a woman in the movie. It doesn't hold so much weight when the comic's like really new. It hasn't had time to sink in, get accepted to the fandom. So if you get my drift, it's probably like a lot of the same people who wrote the comics want her in this movie. It's like the same thing. If it's like, well, you know, Batman's been like this in the comics for like 50 years, and it's like that in the movie, I can't argue. It's accepted. It's been there for a long time. Alright, that's it. I should not say that's it, because then people click off the video, but yeah, I'm doing shout-outs, special thanks, things like that. Click subscribe, let me know what you think. I will see you next time.